Well, hello, all you fellow collage lovers. Collage is by far, it does seem to be the favorite of most slow stitchers. The poll that I put on my post tab of my channel about this, collage definitely won out over the other designing styles in slow stitch. And it is by far the easiest and sometimes the hardest to do well. Why do I say that? Because so many beginners, and even some of us who've been in it a while, struggle sometime with putting a collage together that we really like. Now, I found that as I progressed in my skills, my collage became more complicated in that I used lots more elements, a lot more stitching, things like that. But definitely to master collaging in my mind, you need to first master a few basic concepts. Know what you can use, know what's in your toolbox. And if you don't know what's in your toolbox, how do you begin to build a collage? If you study collage in just any medium, you really begin to see a pattern of how that artisan uses certain things in their toolbox. They may be collaging more with texture, with form, with shapes, with an idea, with an abstract. It just goes on and on. So let's start this book of ours where we're going to collage our pages and we're going to learn on each page. Now, my book is going to have 5 by 7 pages. All right. So my batting is lightweight batting is 5 by 7. When I get 2 of these together, I will sew a little spine piece of fabric right down there. And then when I put it in my book, they will easily fold together and it won't mess up my design. Okay, so we have this first piece. Now we need a background fabric, and you know, I forgot to pull that out. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, come on. Where is it? Okay. I have whites and I have creams. So I can use both. Doesn't have to be one or the other. And it can be anything else for that matter. Can be any piece of fabric, but just something to give us to play on. We'll just use this white linen on this one. And we'll pin it down so we can cut it down to size. Okay, we'll turn it over. Now I'm thinking for my pages that I will create 2 different pages, and then when I get them completed, I will whip stitch them together to create a front and back. for instance, this would be my first page. If this were my second finished page, then I would put it to the back and I would whip stitch them together. And then when I sewed my little spine piece down through here, when it turned, it would be a front and back page. That's what I'm thinking right now. The easiest way to do that. No sweat. Okay. Let's talk about our first page concept. We're going to use in our toolbox some shapes: a circle, a square, two of them actually, and a rectangle. Okay, that's going to be our basic collage. Your toolbox has your tools for making your basic collage. Your head and heart has your tools for embellishing that, for expanding on that. Okay, your design elements that come into play. But first of all, you have to get a basic collage down. So in this case, we're going to do a circle, some squares, a rectangle, and then it says a floral or accent piece. So I can see right now that I could work maybe a little floral in this. That would be big enough. Now remember, I've got them numbered here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how I'm going to lay them down. So 2 will go over 1. So part of that circle will be covered. 3 will go over 2. Part of that square will be covered. 4 will go over 3. Part of that square will be covered. So the only larger areas to work any kind of floral would be right in here, okay, or right in here. Not enough of this square would work, and I don't think the floral, it could be an elongated floral through here, but however you want it to design, that's my embellishment thought right here. But my actual basic things coming out of my toolbox is a circle, a square, and a rectangle. Okay, so I have some cut out over here. Let me first get my circle. Here's my large circle. All right, and I have a square, and I think I have like this one here. Something like that. Then I have a larger square that goes over that. I think I'm going to bring this one in just a little. Let him cut into that circle a little bit more. And then I'm going to put this one, leave me a little space over here for sewing that spine part on, okay? All right. This has a lighter side, and I'm going to take the lighter side, I think. Okay. Now I have a rectangle, and I'm going to come back and pull in this fabric for, now none of these are not rulered out, these are eyeballed cut. So when I say a rectangle, this is eyeball cut rectangle. Now what I'm trying to do here is balance the page a little as I go. Keep a little distance from the edges so that I can have some whip stitch room there. Let's bring this one up, this one up. Okay, there's me a basic collage pattern. You see that? Just a basic collage pattern. I use 3 things out of my toolbox: a circle, a square, and a rectangle. Okay. Now, it doesn't matter how many of each. You notice I got 2 squares, 2 different sizes. That's not the point. The point is using your shapes. Are there other shapes? Absolutely. There are all kinds of shapes out there. We could have used hearts. We could have used hexagons. We could have used triangles. We got all kinds of shapes in our toolbox. But this is what this one is going to be. Okay? So, now, where do we go from here? It says a floral or accent piece. But before I get to that, I'm thinking I could sew this down and this would be, you know, pretty on its own. But we want to be able to not only design a perfect, not a perfect, but a beginner collage pattern, but we want to understand that that is a beginning. We want to expand on this. All right, so what could we do here? Well, I like the circle up there, but I could bring in my pink by adding that. Okay, I could tie that in like that. Now I could also bring in my color squares by adding another square right here and another fabric, but in the same tones of color. Wouldn't that be pretty? Okay. And what if we just for fun add another circle? It's growing, isn't it? By the way, this is just a fiber. It's not a cotton at all. It's strictly fibrous. Okay, we got that and that. But you know what? It looks bottom heavy right now with this darker color right here. So let's take that same color and let's go a little square and let's put him on point up here. You know what? I don't like that because too much of that part is covered. So I'm going to take this whole thing and I'm going to move it to the outside of that circle. You see? A design decision. Does it have to go in the center? Absolutely not. Why? If it doesn't fit there, if it doesn't balance well, move it around. See if you like it better somewhere else. You never know. I like that. Okay. Now again, my piece looks pretty balanced to me. I've also left myself some plain blank space out here that'll look nice when I just stitch it. Just rows of straight stitching I think would look good in there. Now I don't have a floral or an accent piece, as in, yes, I've added some embellishment. You might call those an accent piece, but to me they're just still working with the basic shapes, the squares, the circles, and just building a little depth, a little more interest. Keeping this piece still very simple, I'm going to choose to put a simple accent piece that's in a rectangular shape, and I'm going to lay it right on top of this one. Let me straighten that one up to the bottom just a little bit. Then and I'm going to call that my accent piece because that's probably first thing that you're going to see when you look at this. Besides just your color hitting your eyes, the shapes hitting your eyes are going to go to the writing, and that's going to be my accent piece. Now this is a basic, simple collage, but to me it's very pretty. It's balanced. Now I can use my different color threads that I want to use. You can use embroidery stitches or straight stitching. I'm going to be using straight stitching, overcast stitching, okay? Some straight stitching in the background. Nothing too complicated, okay? Nothing too complicated. All right, so isn't that easy? Didn't that work out just so easy? And we've built a really pretty collage out of 3 basic things out of our toolbox: a circle, a square, a rectangle. We embellished those with smaller circles and squares, and we added an accent piece, okay? You could have chosen anything. This is what I chose. So now we want to pin these down, and then we want to start sewing. So I'm going to do all this pinning and things off camera and get a little bit of the sewing started, and then I'll come back and we'll work together some more. Just want to give you an update. I have actually stitched the entire thing, and I did it in just what I call an overcast stitch, and then a running stitch through here. And I did some just running stitch, kind of outlining the shape. Hope you can see that. Let me bring it up a little bit. Just kind of outlining the shape of things. Nothing fancy at all. The only extra thing I added was this little piece right here, and I thought it just balanced the piece even more and tied these 2 pieces in really nicely. And so that is the simple first collage pattern. Now, what I'd like for you to do, if you like this type of video on collage patterns and you would like for me to do more with different patterns, then please put that in the comments and let me know if that's something that would benefit you in the future. We can do a different layout each time, and that just kind of give you an idea of how you can mix things up with fabrics and shapes and different layouts, okay? All right, till next time, let's stay scrap happy.